Recording. Okay. Now, all right.
Hey, Brits, we're on the speaker view or gallery. I think we're on speaker view.
All right, well, let's switch to that.
It didn't change on Facebook. I don't know. You might want to end it and restart it.
Learning the business.
I'm glad you guys are doing that part because I got no technical skills.
Jessica, are you able to mute your
Yes.
your end? There's a lot of wind, and so
Yep.
probably in between might be.
Yeah, that's no
Might help.
problem. I
All right.
can mute it when we're driving. I just kind of thought,
Brits, we're good.
Okay, so now let's do it again.
Perfect.
All right, so let me start it again. We're gonna go, I'm gonna stop recording as well. All right.
We've got some aged cheddar. I'm gonna break out and have
Nice.
some with the wine.
All
Oh
right,
yeah.
let's do it. We're going, ready. We're on gallery view. Let's do this. All right. I think we should be up and running.
All right.
We are ready to go, everybody. We are now in episode 12.
Episode 12.
Episode 12. And we are so excited to have one of our favorite people in the wine industry, Jessica Link, join us and tell us a little bit about Linked Vineyards. I think even to get started, we're going to get a little tour of the vineyard and to see some grapes and to see where everything starts. So, Jessica, you want to take it over and show us around a little bit?
Beautiful.
All right.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, a beautiful 80 plus degree day in the Napa Valley. Never hurt anybody.
Yeah, it really hurts to be watching that right now, considering that it's snowed today in Michigan. But I'll take it.
Dude, I mean that's just brutal. It's April, we're quarantined, and you got snow.
Yeah, Dr. Did you guys get any in Chicago?
We got snow. I think yesterday. There were 2 days in a row I woke up to coverage, and then it had melted by the end of the day. So this is it's nice to see, but stings a little.
Yeah, I don't want any of that.
That's just stunning.
Okay, so we thought, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, we
Yes.
Fantastic. We
Thank
thought we would show you where the wine all starts, which is in the vineyard. And we would show you the start of the 2020 harvest with the grapevines. Because how cool is that?
And
Okay.
because this is the only thing Drew gets to do.
This is great.
So check out these little babies right here.
So these are our the start of the 2020 vintage. We pruned about 2 months ago, and we've been waiting. We start to see these little shoots grow in end of March and early April. So we're a little on the late side this year, about I'd say 14 to 21 days behind what I would consider normal for us. So this is the baby grape shoot that's growing out. We prune it, so we're looking at about 2 shoots per spur position. Hopefully
This is a spur position.
Yeah, that's a spur. Sorry, Jessica has to remind me to dumb it down sometimes. But this is basically a grapevine. It's being transitioned from an old cordon to a new cordon, so it looks a little funky, but that's just the way I roll.
Okay, show them the cutest little grape cluster down here.
So this is, that right there is actually a grape cluster to be. It's the flowers that will bloom very unspectacularly sometime around mid to late May, probably this year, early June, and then turn into berries that we will patiently tend and wait for, and sometime mid to late October, early November, we'll pick. So,
That's awesome.
And then in 3 years, we'll enjoy in a glass.
it'll take about 5 years.
Yeah,
for
we're-
you to get
5 years. Okay.
We're an extra slow process. We do a lot more aging than most. So, yeah, more like 5 years.
We'll definitely talk more about that as we get into the wine then.
Yeah. So we'll go sit down and crack our bottle. But this is
right.
home, and this is where there's our ride that we rode in on.
It's beautiful. Absolutely
Come
beautiful.
for a visit.
Yeah, when you come for a visit, we'll take you on a little ride.
Oh, we're definitely coming.
This is where we do some tastings when the weather's beautiful like this.
I love this. So it's right in the middle of the vineyard is where you're doing your tasting. That's great.
Yep. So we have this little deck up here.
Mm-hmm. Couple bears overlooking the process.
Yep. So there's the deck. There's where we taste. There's the vineyard. It's not a shabby place.
Not at all.
Now, do you want to talk about where that's located in the valley?
We are in Knights Valley in Sonoma County, California.
All right.
We're up in the hills between Calistoga and Santa Rosa.
Absolutely. I love the bears.
Aren't those fun? So those were 150-foot redwood trees that we had to trim up, and we couldn't see them take them down. So instead, we made that deck.
That's super.
Wow.
So now back to our ugly mugs.
This is fun. Well, I got to tell you, you guys did the first vineyard. So that was fun. We haven't done one of those yet on the now 12 episodes we've done. So
Excellent. We did something new.
Yes.
Fun.
Normally we just start drinking, but I think it was good that we've had a little delayed gratification here.
Oh, fantastic. Well, pop those babies open and get to drinking. I'm not going to take that away from you.
So this is the 2015, right?
Yes.
And you said you guys take longer in your process. Is this the latest release that you have, or is there a 16 coming out?
The 16 will come out later this year, September, October. So we do sit on it for about 3 years in bottle in the cellar before we release. It's a fairly, full-bodied Cabernet, and I think it benefits from a little bit of age.
You know what was
How is it aged?
All French oak.
About 16 months in barrel.
16 in barrel? Yeah.
Yep.
First time we had, which I think was it might have been was it 13 or 14? Might have been 13. Was when you came to see us at the Uptown.
Yes.
That's right.
And I think Segi and I, and I'm sure DR was in the mix on that, definitely.
Oh yeah.
The bottle you brought us, and we were like, oh my God.
I'm pretty sure we were boxing out the other guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you want some of this? Yeah, hey, try some of this first.
Oh, this bottle only has 3 glasses worth. Sorry.
That's why we like these really big, bold glasses like this. You
Yeah.
know, give me a glass of wine. It's up to here.
No.
It is about a third of a bottle.
What's funny is that, in S&C, we've got, some guys that like wine, and we've got guys that don't like wine at all. We're all really into it. So it's like, you're not, it's the same thing as like with me. I'm not a beer drinker. So crazy, I'm super excited about. Don't waste it on me, because it's just not my thing. So when it comes to the wine, we tasted this, we're like, oh no, 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 no.
Well, we're huge fans, so I'm having a bit of a fan moment. So this is just as cool for me, maybe, as for you guys to enjoy the wine. So thanks for having us.
It's mutual. It's mutual.
This is our pleasure. And this,
Yeah.
When David told us that you were, down to join for an episode, both DR and I were like, please, when can we do this? Like, the sooner the better.
Yes.
Because I remember that night in Napa when you brought that wine. It was the first time we had it. None of us were really sure what to expect. You kind of sold yourself a little short when describing yourself and your vineyard. You were like, because I met you at Davis Estates, where you were kind enough to give me a great tour over there. And the way you described, you're like, oh, we have this really small vineyard and we make a little wine, and I'd love to have you guys taste it sometime. And literally after the first sip, I was like, this is one of my favorite wines I've had. And it's really, really incredible.
In fairness, it's handwritten on the back of the bottle, the number of the bottle. So indeed, it is a.
You're awesome for noticing that. So there's only 3 of us. Like, you talk small winery, like there's 3 of us. So Drew, my hubby, my better half, but I only claim him about half the time because the other half. So Drew farms all the vineyards, so he's totally the technical guy. We have an amazing French winemaker, Luc Morlaix, who makes the wine for us. And then I get all the boring stuff and the non-exciting titles. So my little touch is I get to touch every bottle and number them. And then we keep track of who has what numbers and where they go. So thanks for noticing.
That's very cool.
It's
very cool. I love the touch. Yeah.
One, you don't see it. And 2, it is, again, we've talked about this before, and wine is art. And it reminds me of art in the sense where you'll see a piece of art that's numbered and signed. And I really feel like that's what you guys are doing with the wine and with the bottles. And it really feels like you're getting something exclusive and special and limited because you are, but that little extra touch means.
Well,
Technical difficulty.
weather.
There's only 3 of you.
We have some wind not participating with us for the moment.
No snow, though.
No snow. God help us.
Yeah. So what do you guys smell when you're into this?
So I opened this probably almost an hour ago. I opened it at 5:30 just to let it kind of open up. And I mean, it was really aromatic when I opened it. And now it's just like, exploding. I'm getting a lot of, really ripe red fruit.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
It's only my first time drinking wine. Pay no attention to me.
Oh, down the wrong pipe?
Yep.
I'm getting a lot of that steak. So at first it was obviously there was a lot. I got a lot of that alcohol, but as that's sort of burning off, I'm getting a lot of smooth, like a little bit of black licorice, even some of that leather right away, like just real smooth earthiness.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the leather vibe. Prominent on the nose. Definitely feel the ripe fruit. It's continuing. I mean, it's changing minute by minute right now. I've had it open for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Ooh.
So I cheated. I've had mine open since about noon.
Should have. Yeah, I might actually have my wife decant the rest of this.
That's typically what we do. We encourage people to open up. I mean, you have to plan to drink your wine that way, but we encourage people to open it up a good 5 to 6 hours ahead of time and let it breathe a little bit.
How am I supposed to wait that long?
So you open other bottles.
That's right.
Because you
You
want to be
stagger it, right? All right, I'm going to dive in here.
So I told Sarah what we were drinking, and she was like, you know what? I don't. She's like, we only have like salmon, like frozen salmon. She's like, we got the frozen ground beef in the fridge downstairs. She's like, I feel like we're gonna want a steak with this. So I went out and bought a couple steaks.
Aren't you amazing? That's fantastic. I was wondering, I'm like, are they going to cheat and actually open this one or save it for later?
Oh no, that's counter to what we do here. We open.
Would not do that.
That's the way it has to work here.
You're a good pour right now.
Now he was decanting.
This is my big glass.
We have some special guests. I saw one Jerome Collins in the building. I saw.
Nice. What's up, Rosie?
Jasper's here.
Jasper's here. We got Marnie here.
Oh, Marnie, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. So,
My mom is here.
Hi, Mom.
Really? That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Do they make this wine in a 40 ounce? That's
sounds like Jerome.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are going to make some large formats this year. It's going to be our first year. Because
Really?
how cool is it to pour like a whole case of wine in one bottle?
It's very cool.
Yes.
And the problem I have with large format is the only time I pour them is when I have large parties. I don't open, you don't open a large format bottle when you're at home by yourself.
Unless you're
unless you have a problem.
Or
I thought you were going to say unless you're
in
awesome.
quarantine and you're not going anywhere for a while.
Yes.
go.
So we've done that. We've actually heard from a lot of our members that, which doesn't happen in our house, there's leftovers for the next night. And it's just as good the second night, but I don't know. I don't have that problem.
Fair enough.
So you said you're a small vineyard. How many cases do you guys produce a year?
So we make around 150 to 160 cases a year. 160 is our 50 is our record. We're taking over the planet, which is laughably small. I mean, that's the size of some people's personal cellars. So really, really tiny. We sell most of our fruit to other wineries. So, and most of it goes into a lot of boutique Napa Valley brands. So we've been real fortunate to be able to do that. And then the making of wine and doing it was to kind of help promote the vineyard itself. So we just happened upon a winemaker that everything he touches is gold. He makes beautiful, beautiful wines. He's gotten, I don't know how many 100-point wines he's gotten at this point. So we're still
for a lot of people, right?
What?
He consults for a lot of folks, right?
Only a handful. I think he's down to like maybe 4 now.
Okay. Was it?
You're confusing him with Philippe. Philippe does
Okay.
consult for a lot.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
other
I
French.
know Philippe does, but Luke's name, Luke's one of the preeminent folks. I thought it was like 5 to 10. I didn't know it was that small.
It used to be. He used to be for a lot more. Peter Michael, he still like consults with him with his brother, who is the winemaker there. And then Chateau Boswell he was at, but he's dropped a lot as he started to focus on Morlaix family. So he's cut back on his consulting of it.
Are you at liberty to say where some of your grapes have landed? You said some of the boutique wineries. Are you at liberty to say which ones?
Sure, absolutely. I can name them all better than I can.
Yeah. So we've been into the Senegal brand in St. Helena, and then Bukella.
Oh yeah.
Black Cordon.
Black Cordon. Some of them, so Black Cordon and Senegal haven't even released the wines that our fruit's gone into them, but I think Bukella might have the first vintage.
When we first started, we sold to Franciscan and
Less boutique.
and Behringer, also less
Way
boutique.
less boutique.
Those were in
A
our
little
early years. And that as we started making the wine and as we were building the reputation for the vineyard, we started to get exposed to more boutique winemakers who were looking to do really cool projects with really interesting fruit. So we just so fortunate. This whole thing has been luck upon luck upon luck for us. My dad bought this property and planted the vineyard in 2000. And he told me, he's like, we're going to make wine. I'm like, we don't know anything about that. What are you talking
We
about?
don't drink wine.
So luckily I met this guy. I met him at Behringer and he took over the farming and we do some fun stuff and we just have such a passion for what we do. It's not even work. It's hello, look where we are. This is fun. I'm drinking wine and hanging out with you guys.
It's awesome.
I mean, you could tell you really care about it because when you taste it, you can taste all the hard work and effort that goes into it. You know, you can go out and buy a mass-produced wine and you'll notice the difference right away. And it really doesn't have anything to do with price. It's all about, you know, this is handcrafted. This is not just a conveyor belt wine. This is like Dave said before, this is art in a bottle. So it shines through in the taste of the wine, I can tell you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
It is an amazing process. If you trace it from start all the way through to us shipping a bottle off to you, it's a pretty amazing thing. And there's bits of it that I've been in this business for 32 years now.
'Cause he's old.
And there's bits of it that I look at in our winemaking and I'm going, oh my God, we do that? That's crazy. But it makes for better wine.
That's
What do you guys tasting?
I'm starting to get some chocolate notes as it's opening up a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely finishing with a real strong sort of bitter chocolate. But I was getting a lot of that bright fruit right away as it washes down the palate. And then I had a piece of this aged cheddar and had another sip, and it was just all smooth, dark fruit, beautiful.
DR, as soon as you said licorice and I had a sip, one of the first flavors that I tasted, like really, really front of the palate, was Twizzlers.
Don't tell Jerome. Well, tell Jerome that. He'll buy cases of it.
Yeah. So we have had people tell us that it had bacon.
Smoky bacon.
Smoky bacon.
Smoky bacon.
Pretty much every fruit under the sun.
Right.
One of the pervasive elements that I get every vintage is there's a really pretty spice herbal character, like baking spice type of thing that carries through every single vintage. And I think that's one of the characteristics of the fruit from our vineyard.
Yeah. And also
Is that like the Star Anise was very similar to like a black licorice?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fennel has that same sort of note.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that. And, you know, it's your terroir too. You know, we haven't talked about this, but since you're in the vineyard, talk about, you know, just the soil types that are in the area and how, you know, your soil type is different than your neighbor next door and everything in between. So, you know, how many soil types are in, you know, Sonoma County?
Oh, there's hundreds. There's over 100, and I think 180 something soil types in Napa Valley alone. We have 3 different soil types in our 15-acre vineyard.
Wow.
So, and the vines behave very differently throughout the blocks, to the point where in order to pick this 15 acres, I usually do between 7 and 10 different picks.
Really?
Yeah, divvied it up that much, because you want to pick, when we're picking, we're trying to pick a consistent batch of fruit.
Right.
So the area that we're sitting in right now, the vines are, it's a little deeper pocket of soil, so the vines are a lot bigger. They tend to ripen a little more slowly than the hillside that's behind us, because the soil's a little shallower up there. The vines get a little more sun and a little more water stress, and they ripen a little more quickly there.
Well, it goes to one of the conversations we were having. Yeah, we had Pete Halls on, Jessica knows, and Pete, we were talking about the idea of people who are snobby and they say, I don't drink blends. And, you know, the whole idea of, you know, even if you have an estate grown Cabernet, it's still a blend of some sort, because unless it's the same row, the same cluster, it's technically a blend. You know, I think.
It was funny. I was listening to that and I thought, wait a second. That exactly what he's describing is exactly what we are. And it is incredibly rare. Like we're like that unicorn where we are, there's no blend. It's from the rows behind me, the same barrels, the same grower, the same everything, nothing changes, the same site. So there really is no blend. And it's every time we put this in front of a wine critic or a trade that has that kind of technical palate, they all think it's a blend because of its complexity. So it really speaks to what this guy does in the vineyard and then what Luke does at the winery. So,
but it is also Mother Nature. To your point, I mean, we're picking to do our product. We're picking 3 acres of fruit, which is roughly 2,100 grapevines.
Okay.
So that 2,100 grapevines, not every single one of those vines is exactly the same. And it runs from the bottom of this hill all the way up to the top. So we do get a variation of scale of ripeness and things like that when we pick. So it's not a blend in that it's all Cabernet from the same, same clone, same rootstock, same everything from the cultural standpoint. But there's every single cluster has somewhere between 70 and 120 berries in it. And not every berry in that cluster is exactly the same.
Right.
You're always doing something that is blending of sorts.
Absolutely. And, you know, we didn't get into this sort of macro on this, but how did you both get into this world? Jessica, I know your dad had the land, but did you know you were going to go into the wine business? Sort of, how did that all come about?
oh God, no clue. Drew, much more so. But it's both of our dad's fault, both of us, of how we came into the business. So dad did decide to plant this vineyard or talked about it, and I was like, I don't want to be a farmer. What are you talking about? So I actually went and did wine business, which is more my cup of tea, which is, you know, what I do at Davis Estates, that you talked with Pete about. So that's how I came into it. Drew has a whole different background.
I've been drinking wine since I was a toddler. My dad is a physician, retired now, but there's this weird affinity that doctors have with wine. If they don't drink a lot of it, they seem to want to have their own vineyard or winery, sometimes both. But my dad, ever since I was a little kid, was making wine in our garage or the crawl space of our house in Dallas when we were little. And then he was in the military. We moved to West Germany when I was 10 years old. And so we went on, I'm one of 5 boys, so a big family. We went on camping trips wherever we went because my mom and dad weren't about to pay for a hotel for 5 little boys. And we camped in all of the various wine growing regions of Europe in the 4 years we were in Germany. and we lived right in the middle of the Rheingau. So I grew up drinking really good Rieslings from the mid 1970s. And then we moved to California, and my dad started home winemaking in the garage here. And basically, I got kicked out of the College of Engineering at Berkeley, and I transferred to Davis and started studying grapes.
That's awesome. And what year was that?
I
Ouch.
2008.
I finished at Davis in 1988
Okay.
and started working at Behringer in 1989.
So it was after Paris.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not that. Come on. Jesus.
Sorry, you left yourself open.
I do like to tease him that he's old though, but because he's always going to be old to me, which is fantastic.
But was that an inspiration for you though, when you decided to go into it after everything happened there?
It was certainly an inspiration for my dad to want to come to California. He wanted to be someplace when he was getting out of the Air Force. He wanted to be someplace that had a really good, strong connection to quality wine. And so he got himself transferred to Travis Air Force Base in Northern California and then quit. So the Air Force paid, I think I can say this, there's no statute. The statute of limitations is probably gone. The United States Air Force shipped 120 cases of wine from our basement in Germany to Vacaville.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Were you at Behringer at the same time as Marianne Shy? She was at Behringer, right? Yeah.
She was.
Yep.
It's a really small world up there, isn't it?
It really
Yeah,
is.
the wine business is a very tiny little incestuous venue.
Yeah.
It's you can't say nasty things about people because you will probably end up working with them or for them later.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we have a few conduits that have introduced us to a lot of people, and once you get in the world, you realize how truly small it is. And then it's always nice when you find someone who stays at one place for a decent period of time, because everyone moves around so much. It's like the hotel business. If you talk to anybody who works in the hotel business, they're there for a year and then they move somewhere else. The wine business is very similar.
Yeah. It wasn't back in the 80s and 90s. It was, Behringer, when I started working there, it was a big company, but it was a very small family of people really running the show there. And it was really cool. And I stayed there for a long time. I was there for 25 years and loved it.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only thing that I got out of Behringer was this guy. I was a much shorter stint.
How long were you there?
I was there a little under 5 years.
Okay.
Is there a long-term goal you guys have, or are you guys kind of just, you found your niche and you want to stay in that niche? Similar to Straight No Chaser, right? But are there dreams of becoming this massive wine producer, or do you guys like what you do and like that you can control it the way you control it? And really,
so, we both have day jobs. So we get asked this question a lot, maybe like you guys do. Like, this is the question we get all the time. When are you going to grow? When are you going to be bigger? And in honesty, this is so much fun and not work that the minute it becomes so much bigger, then all of a sudden it's work. And I wouldn't, it would freak me out. First of all, it would.
And it's really personal still for us right now. We have a small club, and we know we've met just about every single person in our club. We've gone to their house, they've come to our house. We've met them at restaurants in Atlanta or Boston or New York or wherever we were traveling, and one of them lived nearby. We'd say, hey, we're going to be in New York. You want to come have dinner with us? And it's, if you get to be a big winery where you've got thousands of club members or something like that, you just can't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'd like to grow a little bit. I was working down in another part of the property this morning, getting ready to plant about 4 acres of Chardonnay. So we're going to have a white linked at some point down the road. which will be nice because it's really hard to do a dinner with just one wine.
No. Maybe just one bottle.
So my daughter really wanted to say hi. She's tried to join the Zoom chat, but I think she's having some technical difficulties. So I'm going to say hi for her because she is my cohort that we go to all your concerts together. And
We remember.
Yeah.
we and her would go and we come back and we would tell Drew all about it. So we finally let him join us, but I just want to say hi from her because she wasn't able to pop in.
Tell her we said hi.
I will.
Now, what's your daughter's name again?
Shelby.
Shelby. And Shelby went back, I think it was, Saratoga we had her go backstage?
In Slow, when she was at school at Cal Poly.
Yeah.
I don't remember what was close to there. I think so, yeah.
Mountain Winery, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, oh my God, she had a blast.
That's
had a blast.
And crazy how we met you, because when we met you at the outdoor venue, and when we were out with Postmodern Jukebox.
Yes.
It's what's the outdoor venue? Mountain oh man. Names escape me. Anyway, so we're backstage and Steve Gage is back there, and then you guys had known each other somehow, right? That's how we made the connection?
Well, it was just kind of, I don't think we put the connection together then, but Marianne was back there.
That's what it was.
I was talking to Marianne, and she didn't know me because she wasn't at Behringer when I was there, but I had heard her name before, and I came back and I was telling Drew about it, and then I connected with Steve, and so it developed from that backstage because, like I said, we're super fans, so we went backstage. So.
Yeah.
Straight no chaser, making connections.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's just fun how that happens, though. I mean, you have this unexpected meeting, you guys came just because you wanted to see the show, and, we've all stayed in touch and, have a mutual appreciation. We love that you enjoy the shows and we love your wine, and, we all get to talk about it, and it's fun. It's just, I love those kind of connections and bringing people together and all that stuff. It's really cool.
That's exactly what wine is. That's why we love this business, even though it's not a business, so much, because that's exactly what we get to do. We get to travel, meet people, talk, enjoy wine, share a meal. There's nothing wrong with that. So,
and it's the genesis of our name, Linked. It's all about making connections.
Yeah,
indeed.
Cheers,
and we can be
to that. That's great.
We could be super fans of each other because we definitely are. So for the people that are seeing this, just before we forget, let's remind everyone what we're drinking and where they can head to find some more information about you guys and your incredible wines.
Go for it. Go for it.
Me go for it?
Okay.
This is not my end of the bargain, the deal.
So because we're so small, really the only place to get it is on our website. Every email goes to me. Every box will be packed by Drew. So linkedvineyards.com. My email is jessica@linkedvineyards.com. Super tiny. We're, literally I got an email yesterday. I wrote a new member back and he's like, wow, that's my first email ever from an owner. And I thought, it's just me. So what you're having our 2015 Cabernet Sauvignon, 100% right from the vineyard behind us that you're looking at. Super small, and we absolutely love what we're doing. And if you buy our wine, don't be surprised if you get a call from Crazy Jessica going, "Hey, we're in the neighborhood. You want a cocktail or share a glass?" Because my goal is to meet every single member person who shares a passion for wine that we do and somehow finds us. Basically, the only way to find us is to really meet someone who's come in contact with us. It's the links. It's those random connections and things, and that's the only way you hear about us because we're so small. So, thanks for sharing.
When all this blows over, if you find yourself in Chicago, I'd be happy to join you for a drink and a steak and some more of this.
That's
Chicago
on the list.
is on our short list.
Yes.
Because we're trying to hit big cities in the U.S. every year and just go and check them out. And Chicago's on the short list.
Yep. So we're gonna take you up on that. I'm gonna be calling you.
Please do, please do. I'll send you my number. I've got your email.
You do.
He's got an inn in a few restaurants in Chicago, so DR can show you some good meals there.
Oh,
That's
even
right.
better.
Yeah, my wife
Fantastic.
works for a restaurateur named Steve Lombardo, and he's arguably the best. I say arguably because I don't want to sound biased. Arguably the best steakhouse in Chicago, Gibson's Bar and Steakhouse. So I actually just went down there and picked up a couple of steaks, so we're gonna grill up.
Oh,
Sweet.
awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So to date, you guys have only done cabs, right?
Yes. That's all
And
we
you said-
grow. Yep, that's all we grow. So that's all we make at the moment. But we, like Drew said, we're planting some white grapes. So again, 3-4 years. Well, it's got to grow. So 7 years
Yeah, it's
down the
gonna be
road, we'll
about
have our
6 years
first
down the
vintage.
road. And then
What's the vision for that Chardonnay?
so have you, if you haven't had any of Luc Morlay's Chardonnay, I certainly recommend trying a bottle.
Okay.
It's very, very Burgundian in style. His winemaking is French style with California fruit.
Yeah.
He came to California and stayed in California to make wine because he loves the diversity of fruit that he can get here, and that he's not tied down by all the rules of French winemaking.
But more importantly, he met a girl
Yeah, he did.
from California.
Those girls, they lock you down places that you'd never expect to be.
Mwah.
I'm in Chicago.
Says the farmer.
Yeah, but it's going to be fruit, probably a little less, not very oaky, good, clean, but designed to live for a while Chardonnay.
And where was that? I definitely want to pick some of that up.
Well, so that's not made yet. That
Okay.
is, I haven't even got the grapevines in the
deck.
ground yet.
But Morlay family.
Teasing me.
Yeah.
Morlay family. That's our winemaker's
family.
winery.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
What do you
Their-
say? What
Their
DR?
wine will be ready when we're out of quarantine.
Yeah. DR's looking to buy futures. He wants futures on the Chardonnay grapes. That's what he's looking
Buy.
Done.
Bye.
And then there's a little spot on the property way up at the top of the hill that I want to plant some Petit Syrah on someday.
Yes, please.
So one of the products I was involved with in my previous life at Behringer was a wine called Nekede Mali from Stag's Leap Winery, and it's a Petit Syrah blend with about 30 varieties in it, but it's predominantly Petit Syrah, and it's amazing. And I want to copy that up at the top of our property.
And I'll drink it.
Yeah. So will we. So you let us know when you do that, because we'll be in line. I want futures on that.
Okay.
So when all this is over and you come out to Napa, you're going to have to make pit stop here at Little Old Link so we can show you around.
100%.
I can't wait.
100%.
You can drive to Can-Am.
I think it'll be our first stop. And trust me, we're really, really good at overstaying our welcome.
Yeah.
That's right.
Excellent.
You know,
We have plenty of room for tents.
all right.
Well.
I like to overplan my day too, as DR will tell you.
Oh, are you one of those? Are you a
Well-
10 tasting room taster?
Well, listen,
Oh,
I only had a few days. I wanted him to see as many things as he could, and I had us on a very strict schedule, which we were late for a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah, but everybody was cool, and luckily most of them were our friends, and
Yeah.
they were cool with the fluctuation in time. But it was, it was a blast, and he got to see a lot of the valley, and got even more into wine, I would say, than you were before. After that.
Oh, it's easy to do out there, right? As long as you're even just a little bit into it. If you can go out there and look around a little bit, you'll leave more into it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and meeting folks like you makes it, even more enticing for us to visit more, and the hospitality that you guys are showing us now and that you've shown us since we met you. So we appreciate it, and we appreciate you sharing your wines with us and taking time out of your day to talk to us and chat with us. It's awesome, and I'm loving this wine. I'm going to drink some more tonight, and we appreciate you guys being on.
Down to here. That's all I got left.
Seggy, this is why I love you. Mwah.
Jamie's not going to be too pleased, but
Yeah.
that's all that's left.
So if we need something from Seg DR, let's ask him tonight. He's going to be a full.
That's right. That's right.
But to echo what David was saying, thank you guys so much. Not only for this, but you know, from the wine you brought us to the theater in Napa, and you know, it's nice to drink great wines, but it's better to drink great wines where you have a personal connection. So I encourage everybody to pick up some of this wine. It's legit great wine. Like easily one of my favorite wines I've had, and I knew it after the first sip that night in Napa. So thank you guys so much. I hope we can do this again.
Thank you.
Hopefully we don't have to do it through Zoom. I'd like to do it in person.
We'll do it in person.
We'll do a live one sometime. We'll still broadcast so everybody can view, but we'll do a live one in person, sitting right there. It looks beautiful.
I'm going to take a personal challenge to add a couple more wine drinkers to your clan. 3 of you is not sufficient. We need to convert a few more.
Well, actually, that's a good point, because Jasper was saying that he wants to join us on one of these. So, you know, if we circle back with you guys, I'm sure he would be happy to partake and hop on. And you know, he says he doesn't know much about wine, but he wants to learn. So that's all you need. Curiosity.
We can join too. Steve would join.
So we're just tasting the 2015 today, but if you guys come out, we've got a cellar full of all our old vintages. And maybe you can talk somebody into doing a vertical for you.
I'm on my way.
All right. I feel like there's a quarantine release celebration somewhere in the making there.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
We're in. Awesome. Well, thank you again. We appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, you guys. Thanks for having me so much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right.
We'll see you out here soon.